Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and today is our last day of individual spoilers before the entire set is revealed on Monday. It's an exciting time. Before we start talking about today's spoilers, I want to tell you how next week's videos are going to work. Since the whole set will be spoiled at once, we will make a video each weekday focusing on a different color. We will include every single card spoiled from that color that we haven't already covered in a previous video, so look out for those. The first card we're going to talk about today is Steam Augury. This was leaked a while ago, but this morning it was officially spoiled, so let's get into it. For two colorless, a blue and a red, you get an instant where you reveal the top 5 cards of your library and separate them into 2 piles. An opponent chooses one of those piles. Put that pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. This is basically a reverse Fact or Fiction. Instead of your opponent making the piles and you choosing, it's the other way around. This can be looked at as a good or bad thing depending on the player and situation. Fact or Fiction has always been an amazing card. This is mainly because it relies on your opponent to read the situation and understand what they should or should not be giving you. Steam Augury has a pretty similar functionality, except this time it's up to you to know what you need. This card is insanely complex and comes with a huge skill factor. Cards like this require a lot of practice to master. In addition to evening out piles power-wise, so you at least get something decent, you have the opportunity to portray a certain image to your opponent. There aren't many instances in a game when you can directly deceive your opponent. By playing certain cards in certain piles, it may look like you are favoring a certain card, when in fact you want your opponent to get rid of it. This concept isn't simple, but it goes a long way when you master it. To be able to create the piles yourself, you get the opportunity to show where your true priorities lie in regards to the cards you use. Of course, the best Magic players will use this opportunity to mess with their opponents, possibly skewing a pile towards a combo piece that they don't need anyway, but just want to fluster an opponent with. Steam Augury has an amazing ability, there's no doubt there. The only problem is that there is a huge skill cap to use it correctly. If you were going to run it, I would find some articles on the politics of Fact or Fiction because the ability is crazy in the right hands. As far as standard play, I could see this in blue-white-red control decks. This is a card right up my alley, and I know a lot of control players who are thinking the exact same thing I am. Card advantage. The next card we're looking at is Mistcutter Hydra. For X and 1 green, we get a Hydra that can't be countered. He also has haste and protection from blue. And as always, while it's a base 0/0, it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. First thoughts? Definitely one of the best Hydras printed. Can't be countered? Awesome. Pro Blue? Awesome. Haste? Why not? He looks fast. Hydras have always been mana sinks that rarely pay off because there are so many ways to interact with them. Yes, Doomblade is still a thing, we all know. However, not needing to worry about Essence Scatter or Unsummon effects is amazing. You can confidently play this at any point in the game and at least know that it'll hit the table and not be taken away by some cheap boomerang spell. This Hydra could see play in Standard. The only problem I see for it is that there are already so many good green playables, you will need to find space for him. Granted, this is a good problem to have, but it's still a real problem for this guy. The last card released today is Centaur Battlemaster. 3 colorless and 2 green for a 3/3. Whenever you cast a spell that targets him, put 3 +1/+1 counters on him. He's so fat! This guy gets huge really fast. Giant growth in the form of counters is just disgusting. We saw the other day that there are going to be a bunch of cheap auras, especially with the Ordeal cycle. Yes, this guy's 5 mana, but he becomes a 6/6 after you cast your first spell on him. If you play him, then next turn Boon Satyr him, you have a 10/8. I'll let that sit for a second. Stupid, right? The Battlemaster is expensive and falls into the same problem the Hydra does. I don't think this card is that bad in standard play, but there really is no space for him in aggressive green strategies. He's a bit too slow, and even if he wasn't, what are you going to take out for him? There's a huge saturation of tier 2 creatures in green right now. It's definitely going to make for some seriously cool deck choices. That's it for the last day of individual Theros spoilers. Going into this weekend, we have a little more than half of the set spoiled to us so far. Based on what we've seen, what colors do you think are going to get better when the entire rest of the set is revealed? Personally, I think green and red have had most of their amazing stuff revealed so far. I'm expecting to see some crazy things from blue and possibly white or black. Let me know what you think. As always, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source, I'm Wedge, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.